Well, boy, howdy farmers, welcome to the oat farm. You can see it is harvest season here, July year 8 of the Broke to Billionaire challenge. We are on a massive field of oat. It is looking good, ready to harvest, so I am out here bright and early at 7 a.m. to get this thing harvested. We have quite a bit of harvesting to do here today. As you can see, we got this field right here, our biggest one at about 34 acres. On top of that, we have our two fields down here, also filled with oat, ready to be harvested. This one should take quite a lot of time alone, so I got started right away with it. We are going to be able to make just an absolute ton of money today with all of this oat. All of it will be going to the grain mill, so all of this is put through some production chains and it will one day be bread. This last episode, we made some pretty big changes to our farms, combining many of our fields with a plow in order to make a few of these mega fields. As you can see, this one is huge. It combines 3 of the biggest fields here on Elm Creek. These corners are always tricky, man. I'm doing my best. Quite a lot to get done here today, as I mentioned. We got a whole lot of oat coming in today. This harvest alone should probably take most of the day. I've considered actually leasing out another harvester, getting another farmer to help us out with our other harvests. We shall see. It really just depends on how long this one takes alone. Now, I am going to extend this out. We do have a handy little helper over there who is offloading us. In fact, maybe I will just get the AI on here and I will go control that one myself. On top of all of the oat that we will be grabbing, we obviously are also grabbing all of the straw that is being left behind. Nothing goes to waste. We do have an operation set up here where we are able to take this straw and turn it into silage. Kind of have a dual purpose silo back on our farm that can kind of mix a lot of the really nutritious grass that we grow and cut up and throw in there. And then a bunch of what is dropped here from the oat can mix it all together into some wonderful silage to be sold. Now, while this guy offloads, I could actually get some of this foraging started, as it's going to be a pretty busy day. I don't want to waste any of the daylight, man. That's why we're up bright and early, 7 a.m. We got out here, got everything fueled up, repaired up. It's going to be a wonderful harvesting season for us. Now, we still have cotton growing on these 2 fields here on the more home-based setup. This won't be fully grown for quite a few more months. I think it should be right around November or so when we are going to be able to harvest that. Seeing as it is July right now, obviously quite a few more months before we can make that all happen. We will get there though in a timely fashion. Now, I drove all the way out here before realizing I did not pick up the forage wagon. Whoopsies. Gives me a good excuse to show off a couple of our other fields over here of oat. Obviously not this one right here, but on the other side, look at all that golden yellow ready to be harvested. Now, speaking of the sheep, they have been hard at work. We have been shearing them, getting that nice wool. You can see there's a few pallets ready to go. We could consider picking that up, taking it off to our spinnery. And we have our nice new high-tech forage wagon here that I will be picking up with the tank tractor yet again. This is the silo I was mentioning. We're going to be dumping all the straw in there today. On top of harvesting, we actually are planting today as well. We're planting grass on all the oat fields to kind of round out the rotation we do every single year of oat and grass. Like I said, a busy day. I will eventually be putting the tank tractor on that, so I'll have to do a little handoff at some point, but we'll figure it out. I think at some point over the day, probably when we get this field all wrapped up, I'm gonna have this Dutzfar take over the forage wagon duties, probably put the Massey Ferguson on this trailer, and then get the tank tractor on the planter, since he's the only one who can run it, I think, and get these fields planted with grass. Speaking of which, you can see the tank tractor over yonder just started foraging that up as well. Everybody working today. Everybody working. Now, speaking of some of those productions that I was talking about earlier, you can see bread is still well on its way. I mean, the bakery is literally right over here. I guess I could even go look at some of them pallets, see how close we are to being full. A few of the other ones have actually run out of material or just like filled up. It's been quite a few months since we had anything to do on the farm. Oh yeah, you can see quite a lot of bread out there already on those pallets. So the bakery is looking fantastic, as well as the spinnery, sending off all of that fabric to the tailoring shop. But you can see still a lot of wool, a lot of cotton. This is one one that is primed for being upgraded. We have an absolute ton of cotton coming later this year with our fields being planted over there. On top of that, we did add a ton more sheep, so the wool needs to be expanded out too. I have a ton that I could stick in there right now. In terms of other productions, I did mention some that kind of ran out of material. That would be the grain mill. It finally chunked through all that oats, but luckily we are filling it back up today, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Our greenhouse probably could use a little top up with liquid fertilizer, but this is so small potatoes these days, I barely care about it. The other one that unfortunately did run out of stuff to process was our fermenting silo for silage. Luckily, we were going to be putting a lot more straw on it today that can kind of mix in with that silage, so we will be able to produce some more. I'm thinking using some money to upgrade both our spinnery and our tailoring shop would be a really good plan. Last episode, I did double how many sheep we had on our farm over there. I added 2 more little sheep pen, and by little I mean some of the biggest ones in the base game. On top of that, obviously did plant all that cotton, and I did mention it before, but I probably will be flipping these fields. They all have cotton on them. These are primed for that. So essentially there is a lot of cotton on the way. We're making good progress on this field. It looks like the headland passes have been going well. I think I am going to put the Matthew Ferguson on this pretty much right now. I do want him to be handling offloads today, just so as soon as we're ready for it, I want the tank tractor to get planting. A lot to do, a lot to plant. So we're just doing a little tractor swap here. We even dropped a weight right on the field, which I feel like is a pretty major no-no. Then again, it is just freshly harvested, so it's not that big of a deal. Just gonna go ahead and put the Dootsfar on forage wagon duty right now. It's kind of fun doing these little transfers. This is the kind of thing they actually do in the farming world a decent amount. So he is on it, he is doing his thing. He'll probably catch up to the harvester very quickly, but that's okay. Like I said, with the scale of these farms, it might be a good idea to either start leasing another harvester or, you know, borrowing, maybe even buying another one, just because it is going to take quite a while just with that one harvester, especially with 3 really big fields all needing harvesting today. We have good equipment, so it's not going to take a crazy long time, but it's definitely going to take a little bit longer than I would prefer. So I say that I was thinking about doing a contract for a little extra money, and look who delivers. That's old Leroy with my favorite contract yet again. It is a haying contract, so we will be tedding it, and there's quite a bit of equipment over there, as you can see. Borrowing his equipment for doing this contract always just fills the entire vehicle store parking lot. It's pretty funny. So speaking of the vehicle store, I did get some fertilizer, some seed bought. Gonna go get this filled up, get it all ready to go. Looks like the Dootsfar did just make a little trip to offload the first of our straw foraging, so that is very, very nice. We'll get that silo back to producing the silage, which I always love. Making money, man, making money. Couple of class boys hanging out here, just having themselves a good time, man, just a good time. Be overdid it just a skosh back there with the seeds and the fertilizer. But then again, we are planting 3 very nicely sized fields, and this one is a little bit more than nicely sized. It is a big, big boy. I think I'll just get us parked a little bit out of the way. Got quite a bit to do before I can get planting here. While I was harvesting here, I was thinking a little bit about our productions and how I can optimize them, and basically, I'm just thinking of upgrading, man. We just have so much wool and cotton being fed in here that I think we can just go ahead and increase production a lot, and I might even do the same thing for our silage here, and I'd rather just upgrade sooner than later just so it can get pumping things out, you know what I mean? I took out a little bit of money. We are still well below the maximum of our loan that we can take out, our upper credit limit. So I think I'm just going to put some of that to use. Gonna go ahead and upgrade this for 110,000. That is easy peasy. We got him some new sewing machines. We got him some, you know, a bigger loading bay, a bigger storage container, hired a few more people, etc., etc. Now, at the same time, I think we can upgrade this too. It's only going to cost us $66,000 to upgrade this, so I think that's a no-brainer whatsoever. And lastly, the main pillar of our entire economy here on the ranch, on the farm, silage. I want to upgrade this as well. Oh, high-speed collision. I saw it in the background, man. I saw it in the background. Man, these dudes are just so mean to each other and my equipment. I put an AI on it for 5 seconds so I could spend some money, and this is how I'm repaid. All right, back to business. Let's get this upgrade. 130,000 is a little more than I thought it would be, but we have upgraded it a couple times. Let's do it one more time, man. So now it is even bigger. We upgraded the technology for compacting that straw, compacting that grass, getting that silage pumping out. Felt a bit better about money with contracts like this one. This one pays so well. It's so quick. Yeah, just under $1 million in our loan, but with all of these new fields and everything, I think our new maximum for our loan is nearly 2 million. So I don't even think we're halfway to our loan cap. And speeding up our productions is just a great way to kind of scale them with the amount of product that we're just feeding into them. I think if we go bigger and bigger here, I might need to get a second harvester, and a much bigger one at that. This one's already pretty big. I can't imagine doing this on anything smaller than what I got right here. When I calculated it out with Courseplay, it did have, I think, over an hour just for harvesting this one field. I mean, granted, it is like 35 acres or something, and this is only like a 12-meter work width header that I'm moving at 6 miles per hour. So if you add that all up, it started to make us a lot of sense why it's taking that long. That's something I want to address for future harvests. I think it's something I can invest a little bit into, and it's going to pay dividends quite a lot. Maybe getting a harvester sometime next year and making payments on it, kind of like what I'm going to be doing with the cotton harvester come the fall or so when we are harvesting all of that cotton. Doing something in that vein is going to make a whole lot of sense to me. And you know what else would make a whole lot of sense? If you went down below the video and hit subscribe, man. You didn't think I'd get you, but I got you, man. I got you. Go subscribe. We got us a whole lot of harvesting today, brother, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be making money. I'll get a little more of this here harvesting done, brother. I'll check in with you boys on the Dusty Trail a little bit later. Getting very close to being done here with the first of the big gigantic fields. Had a pretty efficient operation here. You can see we have a forage wagon back there. We got a little guy offloading us here. It's a trailer and tractor from a contract. And then obviously our big harvester doing its thing. Probably just a few more passes left on this guy before we're done. We do still have our other 2 fields to do right here. These ones shouldn't take nearly as long as this one though. This is obviously by far our biggest field. Last episode did ask people what I should name these fields because you can set custom names for your custom fields. So for this one, somebody had a really good suggestion. They said it kind of looked like an old school oil can. So I actually like that. I like oil can. Oil can. That's our field over here. Now this one, because we have our whole sheep situation here, I was thinking something like Sheep Alley. And then for this guy, I don't know. Let's go with Big Boy, because that's our first gigantic over 30-acre field. So we got Oil Can, we got Sheep Alley, and we got Big Boy. Got to get them custom names for our custom fields. And you know, Big Boy here might actually grow to include that field eventually. This is a pretty good territory behind me for like a home base setup. Gives you a lot more room, and that's probably what I will be doing one of these days. You can kind of connect a road up onto the freeway, so everything's a lot more accessible. So I was thinking if I want to build more of a bigger home base, a bigger homestead, I just move our operation to that field kind of behind the harvester right there, and that would just be in this general area. I do like what we have going on right here, but this is getting a little smaller and smaller, and I kind of don't want to use this field because it's such a nice field. If I do move this situation here, I might even just combine 56 and 57 here. If I want to continue grains, which makes a lot of sense with our current setup, in the future I'm probably going to move to adding a second harvester, adding a much bigger one. This one has worked great for us, but harvesting something like 30 acres just takes a real long time. I think it's starting to get to that point where we can scale things up. I don't know if I'll sell this harvester. I might just have, you know, 2 harvesters, keep this guy on somewhat of the smaller fields, and then we'll get a nice new big one. I like seeing everybody work together here. Obviously I'm running the harvester, but we got a guy on the forage wagon. We got somebody here to offload. I love an efficient farm setup. One thing though is if I start adding some other harvesters. I think with our setup here, I need, you know, one tractor to be offloading the harvester. I need one guy running the forage wagon, and obviously the harvester itself. So considering we only have 3 tractors, that's something that we would need to invest more in. We would need 4 to do the same setup, but doing multiple fields at the same time. So I might want to look at some tractors to begin too. If I were to get a tractor, I would like something either really fast or really high horsepower. I have a couple in mind. We'll see what I'm able to get, but yeah, we'll make it all work, you know what I mean? At the same time here, we do have that contract still processing. Gets us some hay bales for our sheep, and you gotta love that. This is probably the year I will look to get a baler as well. While this will give us a decent amount of bales to use for our sheep, I'm gonna need a lot more now that we expanded how many sheep we have. So I'm thinking that this year is the year that we get ourselves a nice baler again. Back to baling returns, baby, with a vengeance. Oh man, what is the Massey Ferguson doing, man? Wow, they actually are offloading. That is incredible. I'll just let them sort it out. I come back and a tractor's just on its side. Hey, at the end of the day, he still got offloaded, man, so I guess I can't complain too much. Very entertaining while they do it too. Something about watching this tiny little trailer offload this big old harvester is so funny, because the straw is so long, the auger pipe extends so far out, and it's just this little tiny trailer waiting for him. It's so funny. But yeah, just wrapping up the very first harvest on the big boy, our freshly made and named custom field that is by far the biggest on Elm Creek. You can see the forage wagon literally also just finished up, and I might actually go over here to the tank tractor and just get planting going. Planting is going to take a while, probably going to involve a couple fill-ups of seed and fertilizer, so we want to get this started ASAP. So got the majority of our harvesting done already. Now just have those 2, not, you know, super small, but smaller fields to take care of there. We're gonna park in our neighbor's field because why not? Get our header back on the harvester here and get harvesting. Much smaller little field to handle here. We got the Massey Ferguson pulling on over to get this guy offloaded. Shouldn't be too long, just this field and then that field, man, and it's gonna be a successful harvest day. Got baling going on over here. We got planting going on here. Beautiful grass growing, already fertilized at 100%. Thanks to the fertilizer we're putting in the ground from that guy right there. It does look like we're still missing a little bit of fertilizer in that in-between zone, so we will need to hit that with the fertilizer spreader next month, but that is a-okay. Since our fields are getting bigger and bigger, and I am having to refill this at least once during the plant, probably going to be a good idea to upgrade how big of a planting setup we have. Just like it's going to be a good idea to upgrade our harvesting setup. And just like that, our big boy field right here is all planted with grass. Probably refill it up with seeds and fertilizer and then get it sent out. Sheep alley here is all done being harvested, foraged up, all that goodness. Have started harvesting oil can here as well as foraging, making some good progress. Vast majority is already done. Should be a nice quick little day for all this, and our biggest field is ready to go for harvesting season whenever that is. On our final field here, which we named oil can due to its shape, you can see I am just grabbing a little bit of what is left here, and this is literally the very last of our oat that I am pulling forward to grab right now. I have the tank tractor ready to go over there for planting, and this field over here, which is Sheep Alley, that guy is already planted. So right here, officially, we are all done harvesting our oat for the day. That is our year 8 oat harvest all done, all ready to roll. I'll just get the rest of it offloaded here, get this guy up to the grain mill if he doesn't want to run away from me, which he does apparently. I forgot that I had an AI in there, but let's go ahead and just dismiss him, shall we? We're very nearly done foraging here as well. We literally just have these 2 little strips right here left of straw. And then just need to plant this here field with grass, and we are all done. Driving this up to the grain mill, and I just noticed that that baling contract we've had going this whole time as well appears to have just wrapped up. Get those bales right to our sheep, or at least in storage. Yeah, it looks like we are all baled up. They have been delivered to my farm already, and yeah, we're ready to collect on this guy. So yeah, look at that, 20 grand in our pockets, easy peasy. So while we are here, I decided to just take a look in here. We got us a solid 12 square bales that are about 7,000 liters each. Obviously have that one up there as well for 13, but that one is untouchable, literally. So yeah, plenty of food for them sheepies, although I think we're going to be making some more come this next grass harvest. We'll probably be making some bales of our own. Got the very last of our straw here as well. So we're just planting this field up, and then we are done for the day. Very, very busy July, man. Whew. These harvests are getting big. I guess that was kind of the intention the whole time with making these gigantic fields, and it's only going to continue from here. So just need to make sure we got all the tools to scale up with it. It is now October of year 8, as you can see from the beautiful fall trees all around us. We got us some harvesting to do today, brother. Now all of our fields that we have planted with grass are in the wonderful stage 2, as you can see from that lovely grass down there. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with the big boy here. Got the tank tractor out bright and early before 8 a.m. in October. A couple things on the production front. We are very full on flour. You can see I already set that to selling. I'm just going to sell it this morning. Don't care too much about price. We're just going to have to keep doing that until I upgrade the bakery, and I don't really want to do that. Now, we are running a little low on cotton in here, but that is something we might be able to address today. While our fields are not ready to go here, they are still growing. We have cotton on both these fields. We do have quite a few fields down here, as you can see. 3 fields all in cotton. There's a couple up here, but I'm more interested in the big boys. I might actually do a little bit of field flipping down here today and get the harvest train rolling on cotton. See, we're making our first cut of this wonderful grass. I think I will get a forager out here to just go ahead and get started on that, and we might even do a little bit of baling today. We already have the Dootsfar hooked up, ready to roll on the forage wagon here, so I'm going to get him up to that field, get those boys going. We obviously do not have a way to actually harvest that cotton on those fields, so I think I'm going to go ahead and get one leased out. Now what we got here is a nice harvester. It is modded. What I like about this one is it does do the round bales, as you can see. It does 238 centimeter bales. I like that. I don't really like the John Deere cotton harvester, so we're gonna roll with this one. It is the Lizard Colossus. You can pick your own color here. I kind of went for like that New Holland yellow, and I am digging how this one is looking. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this leased out. It is pretty expensive to lease this boy out. It is a, you know, nearly $400,000 piece of equipment. It is going to be worth it at the end of the day here. I mean, look at this, man. This is a crazy looking device here. So we will be using this month and as well as next month for our own fields. So with these fields being ready to go, I think I actually am just going to get down there right now, get the flip going that we have all been waiting for. So I'm going to take out a bit of money just to afford these fields. They are pretty expensive. 2 of them are over 500,000 or 400,000 rather. So yeah, taking out a bit of money. I think I can probably only buy one at a time, but that's all right. Now I have taken out a bit of money here. Like I said, $538,000 in our pocket. Our loan is back over $1 million, but it does go up to just under 2 million for the cap, so I'm not even close, and obviously I'm going to be getting this money back after I complete the flip. So with that money, let's go down here and just get this bought. 460,000, all mine for the day. And one thing before I forget here is I actually need a way to move these bales around. This is one of my favorite parts of the round bales, is you get to use this trailer. I do really enjoy this one, so we will just be getting it as is, I think. So we will get this leased out as well. I do have the lease to own mod. I might just be using it on these depending on how much I like actually using them. I figure it's a pretty good test run though. And I think the Massey Ferguson should be okay handling this bale trailer, and if not, I can always get it swapped out with one of the other trailers or even like lease one out for the day. I have been needing to get a new trailer at some point here. I did want to do some baling today with our grass fields just to get us a few more bales for them sheepies. So we'll see about that, I obviously don't have enough tractors to both bale and forage wagon at the same time, as long as I'm doing this cotton stuff at least. But yeah, we'll see. So I got an AI in the Massey Ferguson to drive it down. I'm just going to drive the harvester down myself. It's a pretty heavy duty thing right here. I haven't used cotton harvesters too much. I've obviously used that one, the kind of like reddish, I want to say it's a case one that you get in a lot of cotton contracts. That one is nice. I do like that, but I have to admit I like the round bales quite a lot more for cotton. Just aesthetically, I like how they look more. I like the trailer you get to use to move them around. That one over there. I don't really like the square bales for cotton. The trailer you use to move them around, you like kind of have to back up to pick them up, and I just find it kind of awkward. Whereas this one is a front-loading one. I just like that a whole lot more. So yeah, but the base game one that does round bales is a John Deere harvester, and I'm not a huge fan of that one. It's okay, but it also costs like $900,000, and it's not even really that great compared to the case harvester I mentioned. So I don't know, I just thought I would look around. This harvester is really nice. In the mod itself, it does have like an unrealistic version where it can work at like 40 miles per hour. I'm obviously not using that. While I do like to use some mods that add slightly better equipment, you know, just slightly improved, I still try to keep it somewhat real. I don't want to be going, you know, 50 miles an hour across my field with a giant cotton harvester like this. But yeah, it's, you know, I think it's a good in the middle sort of deal where I can speed things up because these fields are just massive that I've made, and getting to $1 billion is just going to take a long time, but also not doing the stuff where you're just, you know, completely trivializing the whole game. Just, you don't even have to try anymore. Harvesting any field takes like 5 seconds. So just trying to strike that nice balance, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far. And yeah, I'm excited to try this out though. I've seen a lot of recommendations for the Colossus harvesters in general. While they definitely are on the cheesier end, especially the unrealistic ones that I just mentioned, I think the ones that aren't unrealistic strike that balance perfectly that I was just talking about. So excited to use it, excited to hold up the Massey Ferguson behind me here, and very excited to be getting into cotton, man. Very first time I'm like kind of harvesting it for myself. I mean, I guess a field flip doesn't really count. We do have 2 of our own fields actually planted with it, so I figure it was a good a time as any to get rolling, man. So it's obviously going to be a very busy harvest day here. We have multiple fields of grass to take care of, and now multiple fields of cotton to take care of. Now, I did mean to put a GPS on this thing and definitely didn't, so that's that's not good. Something I might have to remedy a little bit later. But yeah, we're flying here. We are harvesting this here cotton. It's gonna be a good time. I might take a little break at some point and go get this thing outfitted with a GPS. But in the meantime, yeah, we're just gonna get harvesting here. I mean, look at this guy go. The working width of cotton harvesters could definitely be better, but it does what? Like 6 rows at once. That's not too bad, and it does work at close to 10 miles per hour, so I do like this one quite a lot. Actually enjoy the cotton equipment quite a lot. I think there's pretty cool devices. I have watched some stuff in real life cotton farming as well, and it's pretty cool. I like how you get to kind of line up the rows with the harvesters there. It kind of reminds me of the corn harvesters too, where you just line up them rows, and each one of those like blade sort of things on the front there just takes care of it. Yeah, doing a little bit of a headland pass. We have very nearly filled up the tank with our first bale, so I'm excited to spit that guy out and keep this train rolling. Actually, you know what? It looks like it takes a few of those. That was only like 1/4 of one of the bales. So yeah, those are going to be some hefty bales. We're making great progress here though. I do have a course set up in course play in case I need to go do some other stuff. Mostly just move around the grass harvesting and get baling, that sort of thing. But at the same time, I don't have anything else going on right now, so obviously might as well to handle this myself. That's why I'm a little sad I didn't put a GPS. I think maybe after this first bale drops, I will go and get that taken care of really quick. So we have this field, which is very big. We have this field, and we have that field on the other side. We'll see how adventurous I'm feeling. If this takes longer than I think it will, maybe I will just call it good with like 2 of the fields. This thing goes pretty quick though. You can see we are making good progress just for having done this for a few minutes. Not even that. And this is one of the biggest fields on the map, so it's gonna make really quick work out of the ones that we have back on our farm. The funny thing is, I'd like this even if it went like a few miles per hour faster, but I do like that it goes just under 10. That still is really nice. My tolerance for unrealistic things is going to continue to, you know, I'll allow more and more just as we get bigger and bigger scale. At the end of the day, getting some of that stuff, it really just like saves me time more than anything. It just feels bad when something takes like a ridiculous amount of time, like that 3-hour sale of silage from however many episodes ago now. I end up just editing most of it out, so it's not even like it makes great content for the videos themselves for you guys to enjoy, but it just makes it so it's a real pain for me to the point where it's like, you know, I'm just letting AI run forever because I get bored of making the runs myself too. So I think I'll probably just get a little more ridiculous with it as the series progresses, just because getting to $1 billion is going to require some really like mega sized fields, which is why we have kind of gone that direction with plowing fields together, just making Elm Creek have some bigger yields from what we got. And I think that's gonna have to continue just to make the kind of money that we need to per year. We're gonna have to own a decent chunk of the map, if not like almost the whole thing. So there's some fields that it's like I'm probably not even gonna bother with if they're just like, you know, tiny on their own, but we're gonna be farming a good majority of the map, and we're probably gonna plow a lot of it together, making things easier for AI, increasing yield, etc., etc. So just the ability to process it all quickly is going to just end up saving me more time as we get to that stage of the challenge. See, we got a nice headland pass here. Didn't even make one bale from that, which is kind of crazy. Now, one of the parts I absolutely love, which I think is just a big deal with cotton farming in general, is that they never have to stop. They can just keep going, and they just shoot out the bales when they're done. They can just drop them out the back, and then whoever is running the bales, aka the Massey Ferguson right there, can just pick them up whenever. A lot of times it's done when the harvest itself is actually over. That might be the case for me, but then again, I might just grab some of them during, considering how many fields we actually have to farm here. I think in terms of next purchases, these fields that I have right here might be a good target to just grab both of these and plow them together and have another really big sized field. Not quite as big as the big boy, as I named it earlier this episode, but it's gonna be pretty close. It's gonna probably be at least 30 acres as well, whereas the big boy's 34, I think it was. We are gonna be getting there. We're gonna be pushing the limits of the kind of ridiculous farming we can do. This thing handles pretty well though. It's very maneuverable. The cotton harvesters themselves are kind of funny. They're like these real brick-shaped vehicles, you know? Feels like you're driving a tank. The harvesters for grain are a lot more unwieldy. While they can have a bigger working radius, the header itself can just like catch on so much stuff. This definitely has its benefits. Now, speaking of which, I do believe this should be our first bale right here. So let's see this in action. It is full, and it does have the yellow wrapping, kind of like the John Deere harvester. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm like almost messing up my row here because I'm watching the bale. Oh yeah, look at that. So that was the entire headland pass and then like 2 down and backs. Those are some big old bales, man. I think I am just gonna put an AI on that momentarily. We'll just hop out. We're riding in the buddy seat with him, obviously. Now let's see, I haven't used one of these before actually. Actually, first things first, I did want to check how this was going. It looks like these two are making some good progress. Still a lot of field left to harvest. I do love these mowers. I think as we do more of these fields with grass, I'll probably invest in some more, and I'll probably just get another one of these mowers. I really like them. They work great. Only problem is Massey Ferguson can't run them, but that's all right. The other two can, and we'll probably be investing in a new tractor anyways. So yeah, this harvest is going fantastic. Speaking of the Massey Ferguson, let's go check this guy out. Now, I don't know how much further I need to be over. I obviously do not want to run over our crop. I think I gotta like fully put it in there, so I gotta be careful here. Let's kind of, I'll shove it out of the way a little bit with the Massey Ferguson, kind of just push it with the tires. All right, so we'll get this in here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Okay, that is awesome. That is a really cool bale loader. I love bale loaders, man. That's been one of the things I miss most about our early silage production, was making all those bales, but especially loading them up. That was like some of my favorite stuff to do. I did love that. I gotta admit. So the Massey Ferguson really isn't gonna have too much to do for the time being. We probably could get him on something else. Mower does go a bit faster than the forage wagon here, but not too much faster. They're making great progress, and this is the biggest field on Elm Creek, man. So it going this quickly is great. Yeah, there's a whole lot of grass to be gathered up here. It also starts to go a bit quicker once he gets to where our mowers are at, so it's like long all the way across the field down and backs instead of these like tiny little ones, just because of the weird shape of the fields, which is, you know, to be expected. I do love watching this thing go. I got to admit, if I decide to make some of these fields permanently cotton, I think I'm just going to have to get a second one of these, because, even with this guy, it's still going to take a while, because these fields are so big. It's going to be some good money, though, man. Good money. Just wrapped up the big boy field, and you can see this mower is like way ahead of the forager. I'm gonna go ahead and get the other field started here. Shouldn't be too much longer in terms of mowing. We have a decent amount of the cotton harvest underway as well. Things have been going very well there. In terms of the cotton harvest, about halfway through, a few bales spit out already. I might just go grab those real quick with the Massey Ferguson. But yeah, going swimmingly well. For this, with how much grass there is here, it's probably a good idea to get that second forage wagon going, or just get baling going, you know what I mean? First things first, though, we gotta get the rest of these bales. This trailer can hold up to 3. You can see there's 3 already out there with him just having spit out that last one. So I think I'll get these and get on up to the spinnery. I'm really happy to be bale loading again. It really is some of my favorite stuff to do in the entire game. And look at that, pretty efficient little setup. And I mean, so this holds 3 bales, and how much is one of these bales? 10,000 liters. So this thing can carry 30,000 liters of cotton all at once. That's pretty awesome. I'm loving how the windrows are looking on this field in particular. It is definitely an odd shaped field, but I am loving how the windrows look with all the bends and curves and stuff. Fun times. Even with that little mist strip right there. Don't tell nobody, don't tell nobody. But with this guy almost done with the next field, and he can get started on the Sheep Alley field over there, I think it might be a good time to break out a little baler action. So I actually like this guy. It's one of the case balers, and I think it might be a good time as any to get it leased out. I do want to create some bales today. Seeing as we have so many more sheep, we're going to put those bales to good use. So yeah, I mean, we're spending a bit of money here, but I think it'll be a good investment long term. And at the same time, I can always just return the lease if I decide I don't really like this one very much. So yeah, let's go for it here. And we are just going to go ahead and borrow a tractor as well. This one should have more than enough power to handle this baler. Admittedly, it is a pretty big baler, but it shouldn't be a problem. I'll probably just get baling on the field that we have very nearly mowed up over here. And if I wanted to, I could actually get the Massey Ferguson to assist foraging up this the big boy field over here. Although you can see the Dutzfar is making wonderful progress. Now, speaking of this field that's getting mowed up, I think we actually just finished up right there. So exciting to be making our own bales here. Just getting an AI going on the baling right now, and I realized we're probably gonna have to get a bale loader too, just for handling all these bales. So spending a bit of money, but I'm gonna be doing lease to own on at least a decent amount of this. I mean, yeah, they're gonna do great here. It's a great baler, continuous round baler, and oh man, that is a sorry looking state for that field over there. But yeah, I'm gonna let this guy get going, get the tank tractor started on this field over here, and then see about picking up some of those cotton bales. You can see we are already spitting out our very first square bale, which is pretty cool. This thing is really gonna make him quick. He's gonna fly through this field, so I better hurry up. So final little passeroo here for our cotton. Probably get started here on the field to our left. Right after, might as well keep the flip flowing, man. So big old honking field of cotton all wrapped up there, and just get them ready for the next one. And in terms of our cotton, you can see we are filling up on that. We definitely are gonna have some spare cotton. I'm not sure what all I'm gonna do there. I guess I could either put it in storage or just drop off the extras right there. We'll figure it out. Pretty close to being done with mowing for the entire day. Making a whole lot of bales over there, as you can see. We got that new baler going up and down. He's actually making really good progress. Our forage progress is also going, albeit maybe a little more slow. I think with how things are looking at the spinnery, I might even just upgrade this again. You know, one thing I literally just noticed here at the spinnery, I came to visit it. Look at that, we got a sheep. Oh, right on time, tabbed over to this guy right as we're finishing up. That is beautiful. Looks like we just finished up our baling as well. That was so fast. Maybe I will just bail this up as well, get those all loaded up and into storage. We have a ton of storage for bales, so I'm not too worried about that. So we will get us this bale loader loaded up. We've used it in a lot of contracts, so it's a good one. Just costs 4,000 for the day, so nothing too bad. Got the big boy all foraged finally, so that's exciting. A whole lot of grass to turn into silage. Gonna give us quite the big payday. We have the tank tractor on his way to go start bale loading. Should be able to just drop those off in our storage container over here. You can see that guy baling over there. We got a whole lot of people working today, man. Even some borrowed tractors doing their thing. You think the sheep are there just watching all these bales get spit out, and they're just like, oh man, those things look good. Oh man, these bales are always kind of in the way, aren't they, man? We are getting started on the very last of our 3 field flips. You can see those 2 fields right over there across the little median. Was able to flip both of those, just delivered the last of the cotton from that off to the spinnery. Gonna make a lot of clothes out of all this, man. Whoo, man, it is a little crazy. We have delivered all of our grass. You can see it was over 1 million liters of grass just from that one field, actually. So if all of the grass was going into here, we would actually need a lot more space. Which is pretty crazy. In the cotton land, you can see we are very nearly full, even with that upgrade earlier. So yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. We're definitely gonna have some extra bales today, and then obviously some more tomorrow once we harvest our own fields. But yeah, gonna finish up this harvest day. It's kind of winding down here, just have this field left. Granted, it's a pretty big field, but I'll take care of it. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked it, please go ahead and click the like button. It helps the videos out quite a lot. If you aren't subscribed already, please consider doing so. A lot more Broke to Billionaire on the way, man, and you do not want to miss out. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one for Sailing and Harvest, man. Sailing and Harvest. All right, bye-bye.